Welcome back to the PDR Coach Podcast. A little different episode today. This one's about me. And hopefully there's some lessons in it. If you don't know, which I think probably everybody does know, considering I didn't tell anybody and a lot of people found out because that's the way the word travels these days. My dad, who has owned Dent Pro since 1991, one of the original franchisees, has been in PDR for most of his entire life, my entire life since I was 5, and built a very successful business. He had a heart attack on Sunday night and did not make it. So he passed away Sunday night very quickly, completely unexpected. I've told this a bunch of times to a bunch of different people, but I know people care about me because they've reached out and said so. So I'll tell you, because people are curious and some people don't want to ask. He did what he was supposed to do. He went to the doctors. He got his checkups. Blood work's fine. His cholesterol was a little higher. He had a hurt knee, so he wasn't riding his bike like he usually did. And he gained, 25 pounds probably, but not a perfect pillar of health, but really good considering 64. Nothing that any doctor would tell anybody to freak out about, but like, hey, you should probably, drink less beer and work out more. And he's like, I will. Went to the hospital and they did blood work, EKG, enzyme levels, everything at the hospital on Sunday before he had a heart attack. Everything was fine. All that stuff showed fine, like an hour before he passed away. And then he went to go do a CT scan and must have passed out during that process, before that process, something like that. Obviously super difficult, hard to explain if you haven't gone through it, but it's a roller coaster of emotions. And because this is what I do, is I relate real life experiences to everything else. That's how life is. It's a roller coaster of emotions. I don't even think that's not even fair to say, because a roller coaster would mean that, ups and downs, I guess they would say. Really, really sad, really, really happy would be a roller coaster. But in my opinion, those things happen at the same time. So the sadness and the happiness happen at the same time. It's not a roller coaster. I don't know what it is. But that is what happens. You can hold those two things at the same time, or if it is a roller coaster, it's a very quick one, flip flop back and forth. But I think that's the case in many things that we do in life, and especially entrepreneurship. There's an excitement, there's an optimism, there's a possibility to it. But then on the other side of that, and it's a flip flop emotion, is fear, doubt, worry, stress. And you can flip flop in those during, daily, hourly, sometimes to the minute, or monthly, depending on how your business is going. And I don't think people realize that. I think people think it has to be all sad or all happy or all good or all bad, but it's not true. You can't have one without the other. You've heard it before. You can't have yin without the yang. You can't have peace without war. You can't have love without hate. And you can't have happiness without sadness. You can't experience the positive emotions because they can't be classified as positive if there's nothing to compare it to. So that's how I feel about that. I try to keep that in mind when these things happen. Lost my father-in-law 3 years ago. Now my dad. It is part of life. Other people I know will not be here too. Well, I probably am. I want to say thank you to, I know a lot of people listen to my podcast and have followed me for a long time. It still feels really weird to even do a podcast like this, to be honest with you. I feel kind of doing it for myself a little bit because it's cathartic, and doing it for everyone else because I know a lot of people knew my dad. I know a lot of people know me and appreciate me to whatever level that they do, or hate me but still listen. I guess that's fine too. But um, they care what I have to say, and they care about me, and that's awesome. I know that because over the last week I've had an amazing amount of people reach out and tell me so. And the fact that we have this PDR community and the people that, and I know they do it for other people. It's not just for me. I know they would, because there's so many great people in this industry, but there's people that literally told me they would pack their shit and fly out to California to help me run our business. Thankfully I didn't have to do that. I'm so grateful that people would actually do that. I had my competitors in my area, people that I know fairly well and people that I don't even know that well, offer to help me, and some of them did. And I appreciate that. That matters. Um, just the kind of things people have said to me, the people that have reached out to me, all that stuff. So thank you. If you did do that, or reach out to me or call me, I appreciate it. I really do. If you didn't, that's okay. I don't blame you. It's kind of hard to know what to say. There really is nothing you could say. Something I've been thinking about a lot this week is relationship. So to be completely transparent, which is the only way I know how to be, even on my podcast, I've wanted to own Debo for a long time. I think everybody knows that. People that know me really well know that a lot, and people that follow me may know that. I was set to take it over in a couple of years completely. That's probably changed. Most likely, it will happen very quickly. But as soon as I can get things sorted out. So my dad and I have struggled a little bit. He's been in business for 30 years. He's tried things and they failed. He has experienced life as an entrepreneur. He knows a lot and has done a lot of things. And so I came with new ideas and new ways to do stuff, and we didn't always agree on everything. We didn't always agree, and that's okay. It was always civil discussions, never any hatred, frustration for sure on both sides. But a relationship with somebody, and I've learned this over the last couple of years as I've had my own coaches and worked through stuff. Relationship you have with somebody is in your own head. That's the best way I can define it. So we all look at other people to try to change or do something or treat us a different way or make different decisions so that we can then be happy or not be frustrated or whatever. It doesn't have to be the case. You have the ability, if you've followed me for a long time, our thoughts control our lives, and you have the ability to change the way you feel about somebody in an instant, right? You can. I'm not saying it's easy, or you should, but you can. And I'm grateful that I have learned to respect the hell out of my dad and what he has built and what he had to overcome to get to this point and stay in business for 30 years. Not an easy feat by any means. And I respected him. And did I receive the things I wish I did from him while he was here? Every single thing? No, I didn't. And I know some of you guys may feel that way about your family, parents, significant other, whoever. But I was in a good place with how I felt about him and the respect level I had for him and the appreciation I had for him. And that's what matters. And I'm thankful I got to that point before he wasn't here anymore. The Saturday before he passed away on October 30th, he and I spent about 5 hours in our shop redoing it. We have big plans for Dent Pro, and we have for a while, and we spent that Saturday talking about those, about how we're going to change our branding, how we're going to market ourselves as a company going forward, what services we're going to add to our business, and how we're going to make it happen. And I'm grateful for that time. I really am. I'm glad that we were able to do that. And I'm going to take what I learned from that conversation on Saturday, add my stuff to it, and move the business forward. I'm more convicted than I ever have been about what I want to do and how I'm going to get there in DentPro. And I'll keep you guys posted as I do it. I'll try to, at least, mostly through my Instagram and Facebook. But anyways, I hope that gave you perspective on something. I've had multiple people tell me this week that my mindset about the situation and my perspective on the situation is unique. And so hopefully that can help. Actually, one last thing is adversity in life is going to happen, whether you like it or not. And adversity could range from, someone passing away that is very, very close to you and impacts your life in many different ways, personal, business, and otherwise. Or it could be something very small, adversity, losing a dealership, breaking up with a girlfriend, getting fired, divorce. It's all loss, right? Maybe it's some are more felt more deeply than others, but it's all loss. It's all tragedy. It's all sad, difficult, frustrating, all those negative feelings. Our brain has trouble telling a difference between those things. The small loss, like I've talked about this with fear. It has a hard time telling the difference between, fear of potentially dying yourself and fear of walking into a dealership. The fear is fear. Sadness is sadness. And granted, I know firsthand that this is a deeper sadness than losing a dealership or something like that. But it's all this similar feeling. And I think that how you respond in life to the difficult things is really, I guess, makes you who you are. And I guess that's all I have to say about that. It makes you who you are, how you respond in very difficult situations, in slightly difficult situations. Do you let it break you? Do you quit what you're doing? Do you completely pivot everything, or do you stay the course and be more convicted than you ever have been about the mission that you had together, me and my dad, the mission we had together, which is now mine, solely mine, with, him watching, making sure I don't screw up like he always did. So yeah, hopefully that helps somebody. And it's weird. It's weird to talk about this. I've had many people tell me that they appreciate my mindset and insight on this stuff. So I'm going to share it with you to the hundreds of people that listen to this every week. Hopefully that helps you. If you reached out, thank you. If you haven't, it's okay. You don't need to. I appreciate you all who listen and support me in whatever way you feel like you want to. Thanks for listening. See you next week.